If you like, give us a telephone call. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers, that's what they doing on the east side of Chicago. They are sending building inspectors in. I love it, bet your bottom dollar. So we had these towns. What happened to Black Wall Street? It was destroyed by the racist whites. The Ku Klux Klan destroyed Black Wall Street. Rosewood in Florida was destroyed.
Drop bombs on them.
Yeah, and this is, of course, was before we had this technology to document. And this violence against blacks existed and all the way up till the 1960s, when modern technology was able to document overt racism, the overt racism that blacks have had to endure before this technology was invented to document overt racism. And of course, you said that we later eventually talk about Trayvon Martin, another example of overt racism. Just surreal. Absolutely surreal what happened to Trayvon.
But wouldn't you say that part of our problem is that what we want to do all the time is march, but we don't have no program to affect the economics of those people who do things against us. You know, I've always been a believer. In Montgomery, Alabama, sure, they boycotted the buses, but that wasn't what got them what they wanted. They stopped doing business with them.
Yeah, economics.
It's economics. People, they don't respect anybody marching. They could care less. They'll probably say, let them so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans, so-called blacks, let them go on and march. 6 months from now, they'll forget about it. But if you started talking about, we're not going to buy nothing from these stores, and be consistent with it, you'll get their attention. I believe it was Frederick Douglass, and correct me if I'm wrong. He said, without force, you have no power.
War is dangerous.
Well,
and that, let me say this, the lesson that we have to learn is that you have to work at peace. You have to plan peace with the same amount of energy and effort that you plan war.
Well, you know, Henry Ford wrote a book, 2 volumes, called The International Jew. And in that book he said, nothing just happens. And I'm sure I want to get your opinion on this. He said, everything is planned. In 1948, the federal government in the United States Congress said they were going to develop thinks all across this country for us. And the thinks would allow moral turpitude and everything to go on in that area, to keep it from being spread in other areas where there were people who were, I'll call them Albions, or white people, all right? And it's actually an actual law that was put in 1948. And that's when they decided they were going to build high rises and everything to concentrate everything in those areas, and have sections of the city, of cities, that was going to allow that kind of moral-tude. And if you go back in time, you find that to be true. But we wasn't doing nothing economic about business. Sure, they sold dope. And finally, they said, this is our method. We can destroy them by letting them use and sell dope, which is causing most of the problems with our young men today.
Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Chicago, Chicago, I'll show you around. I love it, bet your bottom dollar you lose the blues in Chicago, Chicago, the town that Billy Sunday could not shut down. On State Street, that great street, I just wanna say they do things they don't do on Broadway. Say they have the time of their life. I saw a man, he danced with his wife in Chicago.